You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Today is the time to get a plan. Do not put it off.
Right now, Florida under a state of emergency ahead of Tropical Storm Michael. Will tell you when and where the storm will hit the Florida coast.
And it's a popular substitute for soda, but a new lawsuit says LaCroix is lying about some of its ingredients.
And beware those Facebook friend requests inside the scam that's sweeping social media. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Good morning, folks. October the 8th. Glad you're with us. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Jess Daldrick. Thank you so much for joining us.
Let's get to the forecast now. Here he is, folks. Meteorologist John Sculls. Hey, John.
Hey, good morning to you both. So, you know, when we left you on Friday, we were talking about how we could see a rapidly evolving situation with the start of this work week, and that is indeed what we are seeing. Storms that are bred in the Caribbean and move into Gulf waters have a tendency to only give you 1 or 2 days notice before making landfall, and that's what's going to happen with this storm. We're watching a strengthening storm with all computer models indicating that a move to the north and up toward the Florida Panhandle is a likely scenario with this system over the next 48 hours or so. It has strengthened now to almost hurricane status, certainly strong tropical storm status at 70-mile-an-hour winds. It doesn't have far to go, another 4 miles per hour before it becomes a hurricane. And that will happen later today as it moves into the water. This system has a very good soul to it, if you will. It has strengthened, it has deepened, it has increased its wind speeds in a relatively hostile and sheer atmospheric environment. So as it moves north into areas where there's much warmer water, where there's much more conducive wind for development, we're going to see this storm definitely take off and strengthen even further. Category 2 storm forecast now as it moves northward. All of this data just came in, so I haven't had a chance to really make the map look really pretty yet, but I will do that for you in the next 10 or 15 minutes. This literally came in 2 minutes ago. It looks like a landfall in the northern Gulf Coast probably on Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday evening is a very likely situation. It will not involve us in the cone of the system. However, we will feel the effects of the system as it lifts northward in terms of strong winds, higher seas, perhaps some rip current issues, things like that. We'll talk about the threats from the system for us here on the Suncoast coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, John. Florida Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency ahead of Tropical Storm Michael.
This storm has the potential to bring devastating impacts to communities across the Panhandle and Big Bend, and every family must be prepared.
The state of emergency covers 26 counties in the Panhandle and the Big Bend area. The state's Emergency Operations Center will activate later on this morning. Marla Spence now has a preview. She's live now in the studio. Marla, good morning.
Good morning, Jess and Ray. Several agencies this morning across the state are on high alert. They're getting ready to respond to Tropical Storm Michael, which strengthened to a tropical storm over the weekend. Now, at least 6 state agencies and 26 local agencies across the state have been alerted ahead of Michael. Governor Rick Scott has also activated 500 National Guard troops, and the Florida Highway Patrol is also preparing to activate more than 340 state troopers in 12-hour shifts. Now, over the weekend, Governor Rick Scott urged Floridians to get ready now if they haven't already done so.
So let's all stay safe, stay alert to weather updates, and watch this storm closely. It can still change direction and impact any part of our state. Today is the time to get a plan. Do not put it off. We know that storms like Michael can be absolutely devastating.
While current predictions have Tropical Storm Michael headed for the Florida Panhandle, Governor Rick Scott says all Floridians need to be prepared in case the storm shifts. Ray?
All right, thank you, Marla. Meantime, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum is putting his campaign on hold to focus on storm preparations. He has suspended his campaign events planned for today and tomorrow. Tropical Storm Michael is expected to hit near Tallahassee, where Gillum, of course, is the mayor. Republicans have criticized his response to storms in the past. No word if Gillum's GOP rival, former Congressman Ron DeSantis, will change his campaign plans as well.
We're in the midst of hurricane season. If you haven't prepared yet, make sure you do so now. On our website, mysuncoast.com, under the Weather and Hurricane Center tab, you'll find a link to our 1-hour hurricane special. You will also have access to our printable hurricane guide.
All right, now checking first alert traffic on this Monday morning. There's a live shot, our roving camera out at I-75 and Bee Ridge Road, looking at the overpass there on the interstate. Some cars heading back and forth. We'll check back on that shot in a few minutes here. But first, let's go to the maps, and here's the scene. First off, in Manatee County, some buildup there you might notice on 301 northbound as you cross over State Road 70. Otherwise, pretty quiet so far. Checking farther south, here's the northern half of Sarasota County. Nothing in the red so far. A little yellow congestion spot there on Bee Ridge westbound as you cross over Tuttle. And then farther south, here's the scene in our South County area. Not much to speak of at 5:05 on your Monday morning. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh begins his first day tomorrow on the job. As ABC's Stephanie Ramos tells us, some opponents still haven't given up.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh is officially ready to sit on the Supreme Court after being confirmed by the narrowest margin in nearly 140 years, taking the oath the same day. Angry protests consistent throughout the week and continued over the weekend. Kavanaugh, a known conservative, now tipping the balance of the court, something then candidate Trump pledged would lead to a change in abortion law.
If we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court.
Republican Senator Susan Collins, who cast the crucial vote for Kavanaugh, told 60 Minutes she is very comfortable with her decision to support him despite the sexual assault allegations that nearly tanked his nomination.
I would have voted no if I disbelieved Judge Kavanaugh. But given his denials and the lack of evidence that this happened, I just did not think that it was fair to ruin the life of this distinguished judge.
Some Democrats are talking about the possibility of impeaching Kavanaugh if the party wins back the House in November, but they're making the midterm election, which is only a month away, their main priority.
The bottom line is that they may have the power right now, but we need to take it back.
Judge Kavanaugh will begin hearing cases at the Supreme Court tomorrow. He says he plans to hire all women clerks. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
A popular substitute for soda is under fire this morning. We're talking about LaCroix sparkling water. The makers say it contains only natural flavors, but a lawsuit claims the drink is misleading customers and that it's actually made with synthetic compounds that are used as a cockroach insecticide. The lawsuit also claims the ingredients can cause kidney toxicity and tumors, but experts say consumers shouldn't jump to conclusions about the beverage.
Consumers should not be alarmed by this lawsuit. The compounds under discussion occur naturally in citrus beverages like orange juice, lime juice.
The lawsuit, the FDA has released a statement saying that the term natural is expected to mean nothing artificial or synthetic.
Convicted felon Bill Cosby's lawyers are still trying to reduce the former comedian's 3 to 10-year prison sentence. They're trying to overturn his sexual assault conviction for what they call a string of trial errors. He's been in prison now since last month in Philadelphia. Prosecutors say they will file a response to this possible appeal. The Carolina Panthers had a big win last night against the Giants, but some attention also went to one of the players who took a knee during the national anthem. Defensive back Eric Reed stood near midfield until the anthem began, then he kneeled down. He did the same thing last year when he worked with the 49ers. He was the only player to kneel, but he was embraced by several Panthers yesterday once the anthem ended. You see right there, Reed was one of the first players to kneel with former teammate Colin Kaepernick several years ago to protest what they call social injustice. Here's what he said afterwards.
And to acknowledge what we're talking about, you have to acknowledge the privilege you have. And so, no, I'm past frustration. My goal is to, like I said before, is to empower my people. And it's bittersweet. I won the game, but Colin's at home with my kids when he should be playing. But I'm going to keep doing my part, and we're going to keep fighting.
No word yet on a possible punishment by the NFL.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, we may learn about the future of River Road in Venice. During a meeting tomorrow, county commissioners are expected to consider a budget agreement with FDOT. FDOT is taking over River Road from I-75 to US 41. The goal is to eventually turn the 2-lane road into a 4 to 6-lane road. Officials say they hope to start a series of improvements on the roadway beginning in 2020. It's that time of year again, and people are already making plans to pick out their pumpkins. Fruitville Grove's Pumpkin Festival kicked off over the weekend. The festival runs every weekend through the month of October. Hours are 10 to 4 p.m. There's pony rides, a petting zoo, live music, food, and of course, lots of pumpkins.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the fall season is kicking off with big savings. We'll tell you where you can save the most on this Columbus Day.
And coming up a little later in the hour, a restaurant in North Carolina can't catch a break after it was completely destroyed by a natural disaster for the second time. The unusual item found on the roof of the restaurant? Stay with us.
But first, it's 5:10 on this Columbus Day, Monday morning. Pretty shut outside our studios at the downtown skyline. As far as the activity in the Gulf goes, for that, here's John Scalzi.
Now, watches and warnings are starting to be issued across the Florida Panhandle and the Florida West Coast. From Pinellas County north, where there's a tropical storm watch. These are hurricane force winds projected, and while we don't stay in a likelihood of hurricane force winds, we are in a chance for seeing some stronger winds as we head into the next 48 hours. We'll talk about what to expect coming up in a minute.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Teachers inspire our children and promote a lifetime of learning. So ABC7 and Gettle Automotive wants to honor these chalkboard champions by giving them the chance to win $500. But we need your help. Go to mysuncoast.com/chalkboardchampions to nominate an outstanding teacher who's really making a difference. And each month we'll deliver $500 to one teacher in Sarasota County and one in Manatee County. Go to mysuncoast.com and nominate your chalkboard champion today.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7.
Not one Floridian will pay a dime more under our plan. Not one.
Just saying, let's get $1 billion here and throw it over there. Government budgeting is much more complicated than that.
Gubernatorial candidates Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum lay out their plans for education spending. Which one do you prefer? I'm Alan Cohen. School's in session at the Trapezoid.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So for us here on the Suncoast, of course, we have much concern about where the track of this storm is headed. It looks like at this point it's going to be one of those dodge the bullet kind of scenarios. It looks like landfall will be occurring in the northern Gulf Coast. However, we will feel effects. No doubt about it, already are feeling some effects. East wind has been kind of breezy over the last 24 hours. That's effect number one. We have a big ridge of high pressure out in the Atlantic, plus this developing hurricane down to the south. Not quite a hurricane yet, I should say potential hurricane, because that's what it will be. And the consequence of those two things kind of combining together brings us that strong easterly wind flow again today. Excellent chances of rainfall as some of those feeder bands start to work their way across the state, plus that strong easterly wind bringing in moisture from the Atlantic coast. The combination of all those factors kicks up our rain chance today to about 60%. Fast-moving storms, kind of like what we saw yesterday, although more frequent in number, I think. Those storms will be riding on a wind that'll be 10 to 15 miles per hour at the surface, and maybe gusts as high as 20 miles an hour as well. Small craft advisories are up right straight through the next couple of days. So here's our system. The center of it is actually now buried within these clouds, which means we have a strengthening system, rapidly strengthening. The pressure has dropped dramatically over the last 24 hours, despite the fact that we still have some strong wind shear trying to blow the clouds away from the center of circulation, but it's not succeeding. The center of circulation has kind of reformed in the midst of these deeper, heavier, thicker clouds, and that is one way that a storm system can rapidly gain intensity, by having that strong convection wrap all the way around the center of circulation. That's what's going on here. All forecast models tend to agree to motion that'll take it right straight through the straits and bring it right up into areas of the northern Gulf Coast. Anywhere from Mobile, Alabama, all the way back into the Florida Panhandle. Likely scenarios for landfall of at least a Category 1 storm, perhaps, maybe even stronger than that as we head into the next couple of days. Probably a landfall there on Wednesday. Michael has gained intensity to a 70-mile-an-hour storm now, moving to the north slowly at about 7. We'll probably start to pick up some forward speed. At this motion and with this track, it'll be a Category 2 storm well off our coast by about 2 in the morning on Wednesday. That's when perhaps the strongest winds will be felt. I don't think we'll see hurricane force winds around here, and we don't have any watches or warnings up for that. But we could see some tropical storm force gusts right along the immediate coastline. We could see some elevated surf as well. Rip currents will be an issue. There could be some coastal erosion caused by some of the wave action. The good news is it will be a fast-moving storm, so the potential for pounding waves day after day really doesn't exist with this storm. However, up around areas of Cape San Blas, the Big Bend region, depending on exactly where it lies, you have a lot of concave coastlines here, and it could produce a reasonable storm surge as it lifts northward. The tropical storm wind field from this system stays pretty much off our coast, though we certainly could get some gusts, and the wind field could expand depending on what happens with it, but certainly it could see some hurricane force winds up near Tallahassee as we head into the next 48 hours. Not a lot of a chance of hurricane force winds here, but you notice the tropical storm force forecast does put us in a risk, a significant risk, really, a 20 to 30% chance of seeing some minimal tropical storm force gusts right along our immediate coast, not inland so much. So it's something that we will continue to monitor and watch, and of course it evolves. Any slight variation in the track means a big difference in what we experience. 60% chance of storms today, followed by about a 70% chance on Tuesday. Tuesday, the winds start picking up, and I think we could see some pretty squirrely thunderstorm activity around here Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, that's when our strongest winds will likely occur as that system moves up toward the Gulf Coast. And then things start to improve a little bit as we head into the weekend and the winds start to die down, the seas start to relax, and we're kind of back to normal. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, John. Taking a look at first alert traffic this morning, things are running pretty smoothly in Manatee County. Some slowdown on US 301 on the Aneco Route 70 area. And taking a look in Sarasota County now. Things are still running smoothly at this hour. A lot of green on that map right there, not very much yellow or red. And in Venice and Nokomis area, things are also running smoothly as well.
Americans between the ages of 27 and 45 can now be protected against the HPV virus. The FDA approved the use of Gardasil 9 This version of the vaccine was first approved in 2014, but only for those between the ages of 9 and 26. So FDA approval for older adults means their insurance should cover it. The Centers for Disease Control numbers indicate the vaccine can stop more than 31,000 cases of cancer each year.
The fall season kicking off big savings. We've scanned the shelves to find Columbus Day's best deals. So no matter what you're in the market for, ABC's Eva Pilgrim is out to save you money.
Columbus Day sales are in full swing with deals on everything from furniture to outdoor gear to major appliances at Home Depot. Mattresses are deeply discounted. Save up to $900 at Serta, and at JCPenney, get up to 60% off mattresses plus an extra 15% off with coupon. Like this full-size Sealy is $332 down from $1,100.
What we're seeing is great bargains around Columbus Day because retailers want you to spend money with them now as opposed to with their competitors closer towards Black Friday.
It's Macy's Columbus Day sale.
Looking to refresh your fall wardrobe? Get an extra 20% off almost everything at Macy's. And shop thousands of styles starting at just $5 at Old Navy. At J. Crew, the entire store is on sale.
This is also a good time of year to buy a car, as dealers are clearing their lots for all of the 2018 models, making room for the new models that are coming out. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, there's a new Facebook hoax that's going around, and it's targeting your inbox, what you need to know to keep your private information safe.
And next half hour, caught on camera, a shirtless man taken off an airplane. What happened here? The story on the way on Good Morning Suncoast.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Ghetto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Ghetto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Ghetto location near you or visit Ghetto.com.
Ghetto's got it.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 78.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
A new Facebook hoax is fooling users into thinking their account has been cloned.
Did you receive some of those?
I did. I received many of them. Did you?
Yes. By the last night, I realized it was all a hoax, that they were being spammed, not us.
Yeah.
So just ignore
I
them.
knew as soon as you got the same one 3 times, word for word, that something was going on.
It's all the buzz right now, and it's the story today in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a new hoax on Facebook.
Messages telling users about duplicate friend requests are making their way around the site. The bogus message also tells you to forward it to other users. Facebook says you can ignore those messages and delete them. Google will be unveiling new products tomorrow.
The company is expected to show off a new flagship phone, the Pixel 3, and Google will also unveil a new home assistant with a screen, the company's answer to the Amazon Echo Show. And Rolls-Royce is out with its first ever 4x4.
It's called the Cullinan, and it can go 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. For those being chauffeured, it has a champagne fridge with matching flutes, a whiskey decanter, and crystal tumblers. The price tag, about $325,000.
It's the crystal tumblers that took it over that 300,000 mark.
And those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, sponsored by QuickBooks.
Work it, make it stronger. Make it, do it faster. Work it, make it, do it, make us stronger. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Our work is never over.
The world's largest workforce works for themselves. We work for them. QuickBooks, backing you.
My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but now I take Metamucil every day. It traps and removes the waste that weighs me down, so I feel lighter. Try Metamucil and begin to feel what lighter feels like.
How do you top mac and cheese? Start with 100% clean ingredients, like Vermont white cheddar. Then add bacon, barbecue chicken, or Baja blend. Catering and delivery now available. Panera, food as it should be.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Accords on sale is now during our model year-end sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for Accords, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
An investigation is underway this morning after 20 people were killed in a limousine crash over the weekend. What we know about the investigation so far.
And doctors have diagnosed 6 kids in Minnesota with a rare disease. Why it can be deadly.
And what 2 rideshare companies are doing for those who don't have a ride to the polls in November. Those stories and more right now on Good Morning Suncoast. Welcome back. I'm Jess Daldrick.
And I'm Ray Collins. Glad you're with us. 5:30 right now this Monday morning, October the 8th. John Scalzi scrambling around the studio. Busy on this Monday, John.
I tell you, the information is coming out fast and furious across the area, that's for sure. We now have a tropical storm watch up for the west central part of the state of Florida. Does it include us? Well, technically it does. You have what are called break points, which are places on the map where the watches and warnings end, and it ends at Anna Maria Island and then starts to carry on points north all the way up toward the Big Bend region. So we are included, but just barely, technically. Nevertheless, I think it is certainly possible that as the system which lives north, we could see some tropical storm force gusts along our coastline. So Michael is a much better organized system this morning than it was just 24 hours ago. And as it lifts northward, it is likely to become a hurricane just later today, really. All the computer models indicate a northward motion, and that is really not too much in question. The spread becomes a little bit larger as we get up toward landfall along the northern Gulf Coast on Wednesday. Could be really anywhere from Cedar Key all the way back to near New Orleans, really. So there's still a large area of uncertainty in North Florida. It does not at the present time include Sarasota or the Suncoast. Tropical storm Michael, now at 70-mile-an-hour winds, doesn't have far to go before it becomes a hurricane. As it lifts north, our strongest winds will probably start to be felt Tuesday into Wednesday as it begins to make landfall Wednesday night to the north of us. We'll have the complete details on the storm coming up in just a few. Back to you guys.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. First alert traffic right now. Before we check out the maps, let's check out the live camera station today at I-75 and Bee Ridge Road, watching some cars get on the interstate, heading northbound on 75 there. So it appears our camera is facing back west toward the overpass, and we'll check back on that congestion as it builds throughout the morning in a few minutes here on Good Morning Suncoast. There's the maps. See some build up there on State Road 70 as it heads, traffic heads westbound from Oneiko toward 14th Street West. Otherwise all clear in Manatee County. Farther south, there's the situation right now in Sarasota County. Earlier issues have since resolved, all clear. And then our South County map is showing not much to speak of. Actually, the very, very base of the screen, if you can see that on your screens at home, we'll click on that and see if we can find anything out about it. It might be too far south to even check on, and it appears to be. Oh, there it is. It says Winchester Boulevard, an accident at Brookhaven Terrace. Yeah, thank you. Way down there by Grove City in the southern tip of Sarasota County. That's going way down there. 5:33 right now on your Monday morning. Developing this morning, the investigation into that deadly limo accident near Albany. 20 people in a wedding party were among those killed in that car. And now, as ABC's Candace Gibson tells us, there are now questions about the limousine company's safety record.
This morning, a community left reeling after the country's worst transportation accident in nearly a decade.
Multiple ambulances, folks, midlife on standby.
The accident killing 20 people on a highway west of Albany. Investigators say a limousine ran a stop sign, plowing through an intersection and slamming into an SUV parked at a restaurant.
I heard this loud bang, and then I heard screaming. I walked up and I could see this large van, very unusual looking vehicle, in the bushes and really wrecked.
2 pedestrians and all 18 people in the limousine were killed. Barbara Douglas lost several relatives in the crash. She says the limo was carrying a group of people to a 30th birthday party.
I had 4 nieces. They're all dead. They were in there.
Karina Hall says her sister Amanda was also in the limo. She said she knew something was wrong when her sister wasn't texting her back.
I'd been texting her all day. I just knew something was off when she wasn't replying to me right away.
The vehicle was a modified 2001 Ford Excursion like this one, seen on the company's website. Department of Transportation records indicate the company has a troubled past. In just the last 2 years, the company has been inspected 5 times, resulting in vehicles taken out of service 4 out of those 5 times. Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Minnesota health officials are urging doctors to keep their eyes out for a rare condition that can lead to paralysis. 6 children have been diagnosed with AFM, which is a disorder affecting the spinal cord, since late September. Typically, it affects fewer than 1 in a million children. Viruses like those can cause West Nile, but it's unknown if it could be linked to genetics, the environment, or if it's contagious. All 6 victims in Minnesota have been under the age of 10. The Minnesota Department of Health is searching for the link to the cause. Right now, a manhunt is underway after 2 people were gunned down on Chicago's North Side last week. Police are on high alert and federal authorities are assisting in the investigation. The killings appear to have been random. A masked suspect caught on surveillance video after police say the suspect shot a 73-year-old man in the head while he was walking his dog. The following night, officials say he shot a 24-year-old also in the head about a half a mile away from the first incident. Police say the victims were killed by the same gun, and they believe the same killer took both lives.
There's a guy loose who is just murdered, executed 2 citizens who were law-abiding citizens, minding their own business, walking down the street.
An $18,000 reward has also been offered to help solve the case.
Passengers on board a recent flight from Hawaii to San Francisco say they were stunned when a shirtless passenger was forced to be removed from the plane. Passengers had just boarded the Alaska Airlines flight when officers were called because of a man locked himself in the bathroom. They began to pound on the restroom door, and eventually they broke the restroom door down.
And then you hear them shout over the speaker, "Anyone who is standing, get back in your seats, sit down in your seats, remain in your seats." And so then we start to, at least personally, I feel panic. You would think the passenger safety would be first, not wrestling this man in between these seats with hundreds of passengers there to potentially get bit or kicked or whatever the situation. It was terrifying.
Lindsay Babb there says the man's father said he was trying to get his son back to California.
Happening now, the American Red Cross is using this week to remind everyone of a few steps to prevent fires. Today is day 2 of National Fire Prevention Week. The Red Cross says people only have about 2 minutes to get out of a burning home, and that's why they advise making an escape plan. The group says simply installing a smoke alarm outside of every bedroom and in the main living area can be life-saving.
If a fire occurs in any portion of your home, and of course on each level of your home if you have multiple levels of your home, so it'll sound no matter what.
The Red Cross installs smoke alarms for free year-round. All you have to do is set up an appointment.
Look at this now. A restaurant in North Carolina flooded by Hurricane Floyd in the 90s has once again been destroyed, this time by Hurricane Florence. The owner of Holland's Shelter Creek restaurant says it's worse this time around. That's the walk-up freezer up there on the roof.
This used to be where you came into the store at, and the water got about 12 feet high up on the roof. So there's not much you can save.
After 37 years of business, Holland says he's not sure yet if he'll rebuild that restaurant again. Happening today, Manatee County's Chamber of Commerce is hosting Dr. Susan McManus at a luncheon event today. The retired USF professor will speak at the IMG Golf Academy from 11:30 until 1:15 this afternoon. McManus is one of the most sought-after political analysts in all of Florida.
And if you haven't registered to vote for this year's general election, you're running out of time. The last day to register is today, October 8th. It may take a few weeks for your new voter registration card to arrive in the mail. However, you do not need your physical voter registration card to vote. You will need other identification.
Meantime, the 2 leading ride-sharing companies plan to offer free or discounted rides to the polls next month. Uber and Lyft offering a unique service Election Day, which is November the 6th. Still ahead, all eyes on Tropical Storm Michael as Governor Rick Scott declares a state of emergency in Florida when it's expected to make landfall this week. 5:39 right now as you wake up on this Monday morning.
We're taking a look over the city of Sarasota this morning. The weather looks clear here, but it may not look the same way in a few days. Meteorologist John Scalzi joins us now.
Yeah, we got a fair amount of cloud cover out there, and I think we'll have a good likelihood of seeing some showers around. These are the feeder bands from Michael, and we'll start to see some of those showers move in through the area as early as today. They'll be fast movers, and they won't drop a lot of rain today, but over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, we could have some accumulations that are impressive. We'll talk about that coming up in a few.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Thank you.
You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our nation's youth. We believe veterans earn their benefits through their service to our nation. We believe in a strong national security. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion, and we believe it makes a difference. If you believe, learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Well, the watches are coming out pretty quickly now all across the Gulf Coast. We now have in our area some watches and warnings that are issued. The hurricane watches are for the northern Gulf Coast, but for our coast, we do have a tropical storm watch up for the waters of areas from Inglewood northward across our region. And the tropical storm watch for land is from Anna Maria Island north across the area. We also have a storm surge watch up for Tampa Bay as well, which includes areas of north-facing Manatee County. So we'll watch for that. There could be some strong winds as well. Plus, there's the potential of another 3 inches of rainfall. So what would be the major impact for us? Well, tropical storm force winds are not forecast currently. We're looking at perhaps some 30-mile-an-hour gusts right along the immediate coastline, maybe some tropical storm force gusts right along the immediate coastline. But that could change if the path of the storm changes, of course. So we could get certainly some power outages. We could get some stronger storms. We could get some street flooding if we get those 3-inch rainfalls or better, that sort of thing. As far as boarding up the windows, not looking at that quite yet. But certainly if you wanted to get some batteries, get some supplies necessary in case you do have some power outages, that would be a smart thing to do. 75 degrees our current air temperature. We have an east wind coming in at about 9, heat index same as the air temperature. As we go through the course of the day, it should be the beginnings of those rain bands beginning to move in. I have about a 60% chance of some rainfall today, and while we're not looking at severe weather particularly, we could see some potentially downpours of rainfall under some isolated thunderstorms that might develop in the afternoon. Mostly we're looking at showers. Mostly they're going to be fast movers, so total rainfall amounts are not going to be that great. That will carry on right straight through the evening as well. Michael is a very well-organized storm, and all computer models continue to take it straight to the north up near the Big Bend region or back toward the Panhandle, more likely the Panhandle. 70-mile-an-hour winds make it a extremely strong tropical storm, almost a hurricane, and it'll likely be a hurricane by the 11 o'clock advisory or this afternoon as it lifts northward into Gulf waters. Closest pass by us will probably be early in the morning on Wednesday, but even on Tuesday, I think we'll start to see our wind speeds begin to pick up along our coastline particularly, but even in inland, it will be a breezy day. Along the coastline, the major impact is going to be water-related issues. You've got a high surf advisory up, you've got a rip current advisory up, you've got a small craft advisory up. Obviously, boating is not a good day today or really for the next several days until we get to probably around Thursday when things might start to quiet down just a little bit. So boaters stay in port, and certainly swimmers be aware that some of the wave action could be life-threatening really as we move into Tuesday and Wednesday. The system continues to lift northward. Forecast right now is a Category 2 system, so strong winds as it lifts up toward the Big Bend and the Panhandle region on Wednesday evening, probably around 8 o'clock on Wednesday evening, moving on shore. And then as we watch the days ahead, the Carolinas could get a whole lot more rainfall as the system tracks up in that direction as well. So we will watch an east wind blowing at about 20 knots today on bay and inland waters. Obviously a terrible day for boating. Small craft advisory is up for the next several days. 60% chance of rain showers today, 70 tomorrow. We'll probably start to see the winds picking up during the second half of the day tomorrow, and then tomorrow night through Wednesday day. That's when our strongest winds will be, and they'll probably be 20 to 30 right along the immediate coastline, and then we'll call it breezy to windy as you move further inland. There are some power outages that are possible with this storm as it moves by us, and certainly some coastal beach erosion as well as some rough surf advisories up right straight through Wednesday. And then we start to quiet things down as we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Let's take a quick look now at first alert traffic on this Monday morning. In Manatee County, things seem to be running pretty smoothly on US 301 right before the intersection of State Road 64 is a little bit of a slowdown there, but for the most part, things are running smoothly. As we head south into Sarasota County, a lot of green on the map this morning. Things still seem to be running smoothly. There's a little bit of congestion near I-75 and Clark Road. As we head a little bit further south into South County, more green on the map this morning. Obviously still that incident in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, but besides that, things are running smoothly on the roadways.
It can still change direction and impact any part of our state.
A tropical storm watch is now in effect for parts of southwest Florida, including Swanee River to Anna Maria Island and the Tampa Bay. Florida Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency ahead of Tropical Storm Michael.
And that covers 26 counties in the Panhandle and the Big Bend area. Marla Spence has a preview now of the storm. She joins us now live in the studio. Marla, good morning.
Jess and Ray, just a few moments ago, tropical storm warning was issued for parts of southwest Florida, including Anna Maria Island and the Tampa Bay area. Right now, several agencies across the state are on high alert. They're getting ready to respond to Tropical Storm Michael, which strengthened to a tropical storm over the weekend. Now, at least 6 state agencies and 26 local agencies across the state have been alerted ahead of Michael. Governor Rick Scott has also activated 500 National Guard troops, and the Florida Highway Patrol is also preparing to activate more than 340 state troopers in 12-hour shifts. Now, over the weekend, Governor Rick Scott urged Floridians to get ready now if they haven't already done so.
So let's all stay safe, stay alert to weather updates, and watch this storm closely. it can still change direction and impact any part of our state. Today is the time to get a plan. Do not put it off.
And Governor Rick Scott says all Floridians need to be prepared in case the storm shifts. You can stay up to date on Tropical Storm Michael on our website and our app, mysuncoast.com. Ray?
People magazine reports Olympic gold medalist Ryan Lochte will be seeking treatment for a years-long, quote, alcohol addiction. The entertainment magazine reports Lochte's agent said, quote, Ryan is getting the help he needs. This after People reports police were called to an incident early Thursday at his California hotel. No one was arrested. Lochte has earned a dozen Olympic medals in swimming, including 6 gold medals. But he was banned from competing for a year starting in July because he got too big of an IV infusion. Good news for an Oscar-winning actor and a classic musical. Bad news for fans of a certain rapper. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
That's true.
A big honor for a legendary actor. Denzel Washington is the next recipient of the American Film Institute's Life Achievement Award. The AFI plans to honor the Oscar winner at a gala next June in Los Angeles. Sorry, Iggy Azalea fans, most of the rapper's North American tour is canceled. Promoter Live Nation announced the news about the Bad Girls Tour, which was set to kick off October 27th in Florida. Azalea tweeted she was disappointed, adding, "The choice was out of my hands and not my call to make." No word why the tour was canceled.
I spent many late nights working on my music.
Ansel Elgort is going from driving to singing and dancing. The Baby Driver star has been cast as Tony, leader of the Jets, in Steven Spielberg's big screen take on West Side Story. He's stepping into some big shoes. The original 1957 Broadway musical won 2 Tony Awards, and the 1961 film adaptation won 10 Oscars, including Best Picture. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, the day's top news headlines in 2 minutes. Stay with us on Good Morning Suncoast.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When there's the potential for severe weather, you need to know fast. Trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather to get you the information you need right away. We focus on the storms that impact where you live, and we're committed to alerting you with important information as soon as we get it. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Cancer doesn't run in my family. That really was the farthest thing from my mind. I've been an athlete my whole life, and I work in sports, so my mindset was just, let's fight. So our stories are all unique. So whatever you're going through, ask questions, get information, and be involved. Don't ignore the signs. Join the fight. I'm Tony Beasley, and I'm a stage 2 colorectal cancer survivor.
Some of the top stories we're following for you on the Suncoast today.
All eyes on the Gulf, where Tropical Storm Michael is heading toward the Panhandle. The governor has declared a state of emergency.
There's also a new Facebook hoax that's going around, and it's targeting your inbox. If you've received some messages, those are probably fake.
And a sure sign of fall, an annual Pumpkin Fest kicks off at the Fruitville Groves. It continues each weekend through October. Now, one last peek at the forecast from John Scalzi.
Yeah, so today not so bad, absolutely. We're looking at some scattered showers along later in the afternoon, fast-moving showers. We do have some watches up for our area. Only watches issued for our area. We have a storm surge watch for Tampa Bay. We have a tropical storm watch up for our area waters from Inglewood on up to Anna Maria and points outward. And along the coastline from Anna Maria northward, there is a tropical storm watch issued there. We also have high surf advisories, rip current advisories, and small craft advisories for our waterways as well. Complete details on this storm coming up in just a few. Back to you guys.
All right, good news for you. Did your Eagles win yesterday?
They did not.
Who'd they play?
Now I'm blanking. This is embarrassing on air now.
Who did Philadelphia play? I forgot.
I'm blanking. It's too much pressure, right?
Too much pressure. I understand. All right. Minnesota?
Minnesota, yes. Thank you, Zach, our producer in our ear.
All right, now we're out of time. See you next hour for more news, sports, traffic, and weather on Good Morning Suncoast.